Good morning. Kalimera. I want to welcome our visitors today. I know we have many. Welcome to our community. If you're planning on sticking around our community and you're not just here for the day, I'll introduce you to our greeters at the end and would love for you to join our parish family. For those of you who were in Charlie's most recent Bible study on the book of the Maccabees, today is the day we actually commemorate the 7 Maccabean children and their mother Solomonia. So just to kind of put that into context, you've been studying something, and today actually happens to be that feast day. Today is also one of 3 feast days of the Holy Cross, which is kind of appropriate. Holy Cross is the place that gives birth to those who are going to go into the ministry, so it's kind of cool that that happened today. We have 4 divine services this week. It's the beginning of August, and we'll have the Paraklesis services. We'll have 3 of them this week, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning, and Friday at 6 o'clock at night. Friday also is the Feast of the Transfiguration of our Savior. It's one of the major feast days of the church, and we'll have Divine Liturgy on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. Next Sunday, we're going to bless all of our students and teachers. That's from 12th grade and under, as they begin the school year, and then in 2 weeks we'll have a prayer for the college students. But next week we'll have a prayer for all of our elementary and middle and high school students and teachers. And also on the subject of college students, we're having a college student night this Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Some of you I reached out to directly, but I see a few people here that I forgot to. So if you're in college and would like to join us this Wednesday at 6 o'clock, just send me an email or a text so we have enough food. Anyway, that'll be this Wednesday at 6 o'clock. I am prepared. Dear Charlie, on the occasion of you ending your ministry at St. John, I've decided to write you a letter to express my gratitude to you and to give you something tangible that you'll be able to read again in the future when you need some encouragement. I'm choosing to share this with our community today because not only do I want to share my thoughts about you with you, but I want to share these thoughts with them because these are their thoughts as well, as you can see by so many people here that have come to honor you today. The theme of this letter is talents and gifts. Of course, you are familiar with the parable of the talents in Matthew 25, verse 14 to 30. In this parable, the master entrusts talents to his servants. He doesn't give them the talents. Rather, he entrusts the talents, and at some point, he returns to see what the servants did with what he entrusted them. 2 of the servants went out and did a lot with what they had been given. One servant, a man who received only 1 talent, hid the talent in the ground out of fear of the master. There are 2 points for you to take away from this parable today. First, the ministry is something that is entrusted to us. God will ask us what we did with what he gave us. Tomorrow you will begin a new ministry in Orlando, and soon you will become the assistant priest there. However, you will not be the priest of Orlando any more than I am the priest of Tampa. You will be a priest of God, called to serve Tampa as a pastoral assistant these last 7 years, to serve as a priest in Orlando for however long you will be there, and undoubtedly called to serve somewhere else in the future. To serve means to see ourselves as servants of God, going wherever we are called, blooming wherever we are planted. The second lesson from this parable is that fear is not an excuse for not using the talent God gave you. I'm sure that you leave us both with a sense of excitement for the possibilities to come, as well as a healthy dose of uncertainty. You are leaving the nest where you grew up and going someplace totally different. Let any fear be tempered with the knowledge that you, Charlie, have many talents, and that God and others will be at your side to encourage you as you use them. When the master called the servants and asked them to account for what he had given them, he said to the one who had received the 5 and made 10, and to the other who had received 2 and made 4, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master." And this is one of many messages that we send you away with today. Well done, Charlie. You have been faithful here for over 7 years, and now you will be set over a different flock in a different capacity with greater responsibility, which you are certainly ready to assume. I've known you for 17 years. You were one of 2 young men who were in the altar my first Sunday here. The other one's sitting in the back, Aris. Soon we added to your number, and you did a great job of getting our altar boys in shape to serve with dignity in the holy services. I remember speaking at your Eagle Scout ceremony, another bond we share in common. I remember our first talk about you being called to the priesthood when you were still in high school. And I remember telling you to go to college first, and if that call was true, it would still be there when you finished college. I remember you going to college, yet still serving faithfully in the altar each Sunday. And then the day came when you left for the seminary, and we sent you off with great fanfare with the hope that you'd be back in 4 years to be with us. You visited frequently during your seminary years, and we saw you become a confident chanter and a strong leader. You wrote an article in the Messenger each month to keep us apprised of how you were doing. And then you graduated from Holy Cross, and you came back to us to work here full-time as our first pastoral assistant. The beginning was a little rough, but you eventually hit your stride, and when you did, it was beautiful to behold. Your help with Goya, Sunday school, leading Bible study, your invaluable help at summer camp, your keen sense of being able to troubleshoot all kinds of problems, and so many other things that you have done for our community are things for which we are very grateful. Your finest hour was in spring of 2020 as the pandemic hit and our church was forced to close. You helped carry off Holy Week as the only chanter, while at the same time working the camera that was our people's only view into the church and making it all happen in a way that people could reverently worship in their homes. The people will never know what it looked like to see you carrying the censer in one hand, the camera in the other, while also carrying a book and chanting. It was simply amazing. And that's you, Charlie, simply amazing. I want to acknowledge your family. George and Donna, you have raised an exemplary son. George and Joe, it is so beautiful to watch the way you and Charlie interact. Loving, funny, as friends, as brothers, the way brothers should be. Charlie may be moving a little farther down the road from you, but he's going to need you now more than ever. Thank you for sharing him with us, and thank you for sharing him with the church. The Lefteria, in a few months, you and Charlie will stand on the solea, right where I'm standing actually, to become husband and wife. We can't wait to celebrate with you. Today is Charlie's day, but I would be remiss if I did not say something about you. When you came into Charlie's life, he began to soar even more. His steps now have more spring in them. His smile is even wider. Thank you also for sharing him with us. And in anticipation of his future ordination, thank you for sharing him with the church. Charlie will marry you in a few months, and a few months later he will marry the church. And thereafter there will be a constant challenge and tension that only those who are ordained know. And I have prayed faithfully for you and Charlie for the years you have been together, and I will continually pray for you both as you take these steps together. So now back to the subject of gifts and talents. Charlie, you have many talents. In the sphere of the aforementioned parable, I will highlight 5 of them. You love leading worship. You have a beautiful chanting voice. It never mattered how few people or how many were here for a service, you chanted purposefully and reverently each time out. the priest is the leader of the worship, you are certainly more than ready to do this. You are a good teacher. You know how to express ideas in a way that is understandable to others. Whether it is teaching some of our seniors in Bible study or our youngest children in preschool, you have a beautiful way of connecting with all ages. You have a good sense of humor. You are funny, especially when doing impressions of other people. I don't miss that, especially on days of funerals, when we're all sad and you come in and make us all laugh. You have a warm smile that lights up a room and invites others in. You also have a charisma that is going to attract people to you and what you have to say. You are resourceful. I remember a TV show from my youth called MacGyver. We used to joke that MacGyver could take a stick of gum and some duct tape and build something. You are very much like that. You love working with our buildings and grounds. I know that Felix is going to miss you, along with Deb and Alex and me. I always feel more comfortable when you are around. I remember one year at camp, I asked you to stay an extra week because it just felt more complete with you there. You are comfortable on a lift. Well, more than comfortable. I think if you had it your way, you'd just put the office on the lift. With a drill in hand, building a fire, repairing an air conditioner, or looking for obscure supplies needed for things. Your resourcefulness is something I will really miss. I already have. The last couple days you've been gone. On the rare day you were off, people would call the office with questions, and I can't tell you how many times I would think or say, "That's a Charlie question." Or how many times something went wrong with a microphone or something else, and you were there to fix it. You are going to be missed around here. I'm going to miss you a lot. Your most endearing quality is that you see all people, especially the least of people, the homeless, the downtrodden, the lonely. You have eyes that notice all of these people and make them feel like the most important people in the world. You naturally seem to know and gravitate to the person who needs something. You are always looking at the people that most are looking past. And now to the subject of gifts. Charlie, I've been putting some money aside since the day you started working here, with the thought that one day we'd be sending you off, and I'd want to get you some gifts. So today, I'm presenting you with 7 gifts representing the 7 years you've worked here. And I want to share what these are with the community. The first gift is the Piconation of St. John the Baptist. This first gift you won't use for a few years. You'll use it after you receive the honor to wear it when you become a confessor. Confession is among the more challenging things you will do as a priest. But I know you'll be a natural at it because I've seen the compassion you show to those you counsel. This Piconation has the icon of St. John the Baptist on it so that you can remember where you came from. This is the home community that gave you your foundation and your first experience in ministry. May it also remind you of our special connection that we share as spiritual father and spiritual son. Gift number 1. I did not do these in order. Gift number 2 is a set of vestments. The whole set. I'll just show you all the stole from this set of vestments. Looks like that. This second gift is the Metropolis C set of vestments. We all have matching vestments, multiple sets. There's a lot of significance in these. First, they are slightly used. I wore them a few times to realize they are a little big on me. And they will fit you better than they will fit me. I only wore them like 3 times, though. I'm not giving you something damaged. I think it is nice to have something that has been used by another priest because it connects you to him. Just change the initials on here. to yours. Because I'll tell you a little secret. When all the priests get together and they all have the same set, at the end, when everyone takes their vestments off, everyone goes like scouting around for like one set that might look better than theirs. And they say, well, I didn't take those on purpose. They all look the same. That's why it's really important in this set that you have some initials that identify them as yours or mine, but they're yours now. There are no other priests that have SNA initials either, so. This set of vestments will remind you where you are going. You are going to another parish. You are going out into the metropolis, and you are going out into the world as a priest of God. All the clergy of our metropolis have this set. I bought another one that fits better. And so this should also remind you that you are about to enter into a brotherhood of priests who all have the same charge to spread the word of God, but who each do it according to their different talents. This set should also remind you that you belong in the brotherhood of the priesthood. From the day of your ordination, you will be as worthy as the brother who was ordained decades ago. Gift number 3. Don't worry, I'll pack these all nicely for you. Gift number 3 is a single blue stole. It's just the stole, not the entire set of vestments. My bank account wasn't that big. When I was newly ordained, someone suggested I get a stole to use for hospital visits, something I could carry around in my briefcase, and they suggested it be blue so that if it got stained or anything, it wouldn't be noticeable. Well, 23 years later, I still have the same blue stole, so I thought I would buy you something similar. This is actually nicer than the one I have. This stole is the gift you'll get the most use out of. It will go with you to hospitals. You'll wear it to bless babies, maybe one day your own baby, and also to offer prayers over people at the end of their lives. You'll wear it to bless houses and restaurants. This is probably the one you'll wear to summer camp and place over the heads of the campers when you hear their confessions. If vestments could tell stories, this is the one that will have the most stories to tell. Gift number 4, a white stole. Again, just the stole. I have one of these also. I think of it as my stole of sadness because I wear my white stole to funeral homes and cemeteries. The color we wear for funerals is white. That's why I have the white one in addition to the blue one. Charlie, you've always done great work at funerals. If you weren't a priest, you'd probably be a funeral director. Because not only do you have a morbid fascination with death, you also have an uncommon amount of compassion, which comes out most especially in life's difficult moments. Our hardest work these last 7 years was at the funerals of children, of which we did several. And I can say with certainty, I couldn't have done them without you. Because there were too many people who needed help that one person couldn't possibly help all of them at the same time. And it was a comfort to me to have you there so that you could go in one direction while I went in a different one, and we could give as much comfort as we could in life's most difficult circumstances. I wish you good strength for each time you have to put this stole on. Gift number 5 is a set of red velvet communion covers. They look like this. That's part of the set. I know that you hate all of our velvet things. That's why I put blue velvet on for your last service. I happen to like velvet. So why did I buy these for you? It's not to annoy you. It's so that when I come to visit you, you can put them out so that I will feel at home. So you can put these away until you have your own parish. And they can be your only velvet furnishings, since I know you wouldn't choose to buy anything velvet. Seriously. May these remind you that we are all different, and that's okay. We have our strengths our weaknesses, our likes, and our dislikes. I want to thank you for always being respectful when we didn't agree on something. I want to thank you for always respecting that I had the last word, but also for the many times when you stepped in to say something that changed my mind and therefore changed the last word. It will be some time before you are the proistamenos and you get to have the last word. So be respectful with your new proistameno as you were with me. And when you are in the position of having the last word, I hope I modeled for you what a good working relationship looks like. I hope I respected you, and I hope you'll forgive me for any of the times I didn't do these things. I hope this set of velvet covers will make you laugh each time you use them. Gift number 6. Don't worry, I have boxes for you to pack all these things in. Gift number 6. Oh. Man, you became neurotic like me for that. That's funny. Gift number 6 is a full set of vestments that matches the one I'm wearing today. This is the set to wear when you come visit us. You won't have to stare at the closet and say, what will I bring? Just bring this set. Then we look the same. It is a reminder that you are always welcome here. This will always be your home. I can't wait for the day that you and I celebrate the Divine Liturgy together, and you'll stand in front of the altar, and I will be your assistant. You know I like things that match. So when you come to visit us for a wedding or a funeral or a retreat or a liturgy, bring these vestments, and I'll wear mine, and we will match. Standing together as the co-workers that we have been, the friends that we are, and the brothers and co-celebrants that we will be. Charlie, you know many of the pains of the priesthood because you've seen many of them up close. Please know that I will always be here for you and for Eleftheria when those pains become hard to bear. You can't make it as a priest unless you have a network of people who can help you carry those pains. I am fortunate that I have a few very special people who help me carry mine. I'd be honored to be one of those who helps you carry yours. And this brings me to my 7th and last gift. These are 2 red communion cloths. This is the only thing I didn't have to buy. And now it's making me choked up. When I was first ordained, I went to my home parish and my priest gave me 2 of his red communion cloths. He told me, "You once held these cloths for me as an altar boy." Well, I used one of those old communion cloths from my childhood today for Holy Communion, connecting me today to the priest who sent me to the seminary, who walked me through the royal doors of the altar for the very first time, who is now serving at the altar in heaven. Charlie, these were cloths that you held for me as a teenager, nearly 17 years ago. They will forever connect me and you. I look forward to the day I will walk with you through the royal doors for the first time. I hope and pray you will use these every so often as I use mine, and that you'll tell your altar boys, as I tell mine, that this was a cloth you held for your priest when you were an altar boy. And I hope one day you'll be so blessed, as I have been, to see one of those altar boys express a love for Christ and a desire to serve him as a priest. I hope you'll have the joy of sending him to seminary, as I had the joy of sending you. I hope you'll have the privilege of working with him, as I have had the privilege of working with you. And I hope you'll feel the pride that I feel today, on top of the immense pain I feel to see you leave. I hope you'll feel the pride I feel today as I send you off ready to start the ministry for which you have so meticulously prepared. I hope one day you'll gift 2 of your communion cloths to some wonderful man as I'm gifting these to you. Charlie, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the last 7 years we've worked together. I look forward to the day of your wedding when we will again meet here. I look forward to the days of your ordinations, and I look forward to the day you return and we stand together as brothers and co-celebrants, because that will be one of the most fulfilling days of my life. Thank you. I love you. I'm proud of you. Thank you for who you have been. Axios, for who you are to become.
Thank you. But now everybody needs to stand and clap for him. And even when I'm gone, you need to stand and clap for him. Father, thank you so much for all of that. That was absolutely incredible. I know that you were teasing me here and there. This is coming in, this is coming in, this is coming in. And I didn't know that you were going to present it in such a beautiful way as you always do, whether it is speaking at a funeral or giving a sermon or offering gifts and sending us off in such a way that means so very much. So I want to thank you for all of those gifts that you've given to me today. Thank you for the last 7 years and the last 30 years, really, that you have been such a incredible part of my life and being with me every step of the way, and encouraging me and encouraging my family and encouraging Eleftheria and I to continue on the path that we're going. And thank you for the encouragement that you're going to continue to give us and that we're going to continue to need from you as we keep on taking our steps forward. I also want to thank all of you so much for coming today. Thank you to all of my family and extended family and new family for being here. Thank you to the choir for singing so beautifully and for offering that last beautiful hymn. Thank you to all the altar boys that were here. Alex, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I know that you've been working tirelessly for this day that we are all that we have been enjoying already and will enjoy. And thank you for all of your hard work and all of the team that you put together to make this day an incredible one. And if there's anything that you ever need, I'm not going to be far away. You can still call me. You're not going to ever bother me. So just call me or text me, whatever you need. And to those of you who are in my Bible study that we just completed, and we studied the Maccabees, today is the feast day of those 7 Maccabees. And for those of you who don't know about the Maccabees were a group of Jews. They were a group of pious, faithful Jews that were being overrun by the Greek pagans. And they remained faithful. And there was a small group of them that kept on fighting for their faith. And they kept on fighting for it and fighting for it and fighting for it. Some of them died. Many of them died. But they kept on fighting for their faith because they knew that many things were important to them. Their faith, their worship in the temple, and those things. And today we celebrate the priest Eleazar and Salomone, who is the mother, and her 7 children. and they were all martyred right in front of one another. And so they were actually before Christ. They lived 100 to 200 years before Christ came onto the scene. And these martyrs, the 7 Maccabean martyrs who we celebrate today, paved the path for the martyrs that we see today and that we have seen throughout this entire life of our church. Not only that, Christ himself celebrated the Maccabean martyrs, and his mother, the Theotokos, would have probably read about their life while she was studying in the temple. So when we celebrate these saints today, and we've learned so many things about them, that they died before Christ, but they paved the way actually for him. Because if they did not keep the Jewish faith, then we would not maybe have had Christ. So the last thing I want to leave for all of you is that to be them, to love your faith, to love your priest, to love your church, to love your community, to love Christ, and to love every single person that you come in contact with, no matter what, and to love your community. And just by what you have shown me and Aleftria and I and our family in the last 7 years, and especially today, you already have that love. So keep the love strong and keep shining bright, so that way every single person around you can see Christ within all of you. Thank you so much for this beautiful day. Thank you so much for these 7 beautiful years. I'm not going to be very far, and so God willing, we'll be with you very, very soon.